Hello there, I'm Jessie Chahel coming to you live from my house. That's right, it is work from home. Thanks for joining me. It is 2nd August, a Monday. We kickstart the week. Now, here's just to keep you updated with what's happening in the news. We have some headliners, and of course, all 21 million doses of vaccine have been administered as of August 1st. And the government says they are confident of vaccinating 50% of the Malaysian adult population against COVID 19 come Merdeka. We know that this is Merdeka month, so that means August 31st. As well as teachers are expected to receive at least their first vaccine dose before the month of September. Joining me on the show shortly, I have Officer Dr. Rashwin Singh Sra joins me. He's with our national badminton team. Be giving us some updates and some moments behind the scenes. But first up, the Prime Minister has come out to congratulate the national women's diver Nur Dabita Susapri, who performed admirably in the women's 3-meter individual springboard final at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. The Prime Minister says although she did not win a medal, Nur Dabita's unwavering spirit and solid performance was a delight to watch. I'm sure all of us agree. Now, she's 22, but she delivered a consistent performance in the finals on Sunday of the weekend, but at 326.15 points that was collected. However, unfortunately, not enough for her to get a podium finish. The Prime Minister, in his message to her, he says that it's one of the most prestigious sporting events, of course, the Olympics. This is a huge success that you should be proud of. He directed that.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, this is, of course, a huge, achievement so far. It's your debut at the Olympics, but you have been involved with the BMF before as well. I think you had served at the Youth Olympics Games back at 2018.
That's right, Jesse. In 2018 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, that was the Youth Olympics and the debut at an Olympic event.
So there must be a lot of excitement as well as when you found out that you had been appointed and making your prep for your journey there, then finally landing at the Olympics, and then have to deal with the strict SOPs as well. Give us an insight to exactly what those moments were like for you.
That's right. It's been a long wait because, as you know, the Olympics had been postponed for a year, and the appointment came towards the end of 2019, and finally we're here today. So the journey started off in Kuala Lumpur, and we had to adhere by strict SOPs in the sense that we had to do our daily health monitoring and for 14 days prior to departure. And we got to the airport, and as we got off the airport, there was a PCR test being done and strict SOPs straight to the hotel, and from the hotel to the stadium and back to the hotel. So we're in a bubble concept basically, so we can't leave and go anywhere. And there's daily PCR tests being done on us, and we are in the stadium from morning right till the last match of the night, sometimes even
That's right.
about 11:30 p.m. local time in Tokyo.
That's right. So it is, of course, all hands and legs basically on the deck here. You have to be, literally on call is what the job entails at this point.
That's right. And because of the SOPs and the bubble concept, I've not been able to even meet my father because he's in his own bubble in a different venue and a different hotel. And that's how it's been.
Okay,
Just
so of course
work.
it's been excitement for us here back home watching the badminton team. What were some of your moments there when some of the wins and some of the so-called defeats? It's never always a defeat. There's always more success awaiting. But in that
That's
sense,
right.
when we didn't make it through some of the rounds.
Yes, I think the Malaysian athletes showed a lot of potential. A lot of them are young. There's a bright future for them. We did win a bronze medal, which was, I think, well deserved. I think all the players actually are going through the same issues because there are not many tournaments which have been held since in the last 1 year since the pandemic started, and so they've not had much match practice and match fitness in that sense. So a lot of them have been going through the same issues of anxiety of getting onto court and playing. But being professionals and being on tour for many years now, I think they have gotten accustomed to that, and they've, I think, really enjoyed their time as well being here, and they look forward to the next Olympics, which will instead be in 3 years' time instead of 4 at Paris
That's right.
2024. Yeah.
Now, we understand we don't have much of your time, but we're trying to take as much of time as we can. You are
That's
on
right.
call there at the complex.
That's
There's a
right.
game
Yeah.
going on as we speak as well. But tell us
Yeah.
a little bit, what does the job entail? What does a sports physician do, and especially now at the Olympics on ground?
Oh, in badminton, basically, as a BWF doctor, we go on court if there is any injuries or the player calls for a medical intervention. Generally, it's mostly some slight cuts and maybe blisters or some cramps, or a lot of them carry old injuries which get aggravated while they're playing. So we only have a limited amount of time to attend to them, which is not more than 2 minutes, and there's very little amount of treatment that we actually do on court. And at the end of the day, depending on which type of injury or issue there is, it depends on the player whether the player wants to continue the match or not. And like I said, we have a medical team here, a local medical team, which is just out of the court. And at any moment, if there's anything serious, we would call them and get them straight to the medical room, and if need be, to the hospital, which is very.
So, what are some of the signs that you look out for? Of course, as you examine them and make sure that they are ready for the game, or if there's an emergency as well. What are some of those important signs? We're hoping to re-establish that connection there. In Tokyo, Dr. Rashwin Singh Sra is joining us live as he tells us a little bit about his experience being on the medical team with the badminton team. It looks like he has dropped off the call. Nonetheless, we'll try to get him back if time permits. At this point of time, just got word that shortly we will be taking you to a press conference by Minister KJ Khairi Jamaluddin. Will be addressing the nation in a press conference. More details when I have them. But for now, let's move on to what the Deputy Prime Minister has said. He says that the decision on adjourning the special sitting of the Dewan Rakyat was made based on science and health facts and not due to any political agenda. Now, in line with the recommendation of the Health DG, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, following the development of the positive cases that occurred within 4 days of the conference, which began, of course, last week. Time has flown. But back on July 28th, Dr. Nur Hisham confirmed that a total of 56 positive cases were detected in a screening test conducted between July 21st and July 25th, while 11 more individuals tested positive last Thursday. Here's a word from the Ministry of Health. They have recommended for all meeting sessions in Parliament to be postponed for about 2 weeks, beginning July 29, following the detection COVID-19 cases and, of course, concerns about the risk of infection. The Health DG released a statement in which he said that they have already had the briefings and basically they want to ensure that everyone is safe. Everybody that has been around the Dewan Rakyat sitting, including the meetings and briefings, have all gone through the testing as well. As we move on, here's an update on Malaysia's vaccination. As if you're wondering, that's right, we have a race that we need to win here. 80% of herd immunity must be achieved in the next few months. A total of 21 million overdoses of COVID-19 vaccine has been administered under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. This began in February. Now, COVID-19 Vaccine Supply Access Guarantee Special Committee, the JKJV, in an infographic tweet, in fact, shared that out of the total 14 million overdoses were administered as first dose, while a remaining or close to 7 million doses as second dose. So everyone's ramping it up, and it looks like we might have the guests back in. That's right,
Uh,
Dr. Ashwin joins
sorry,
us again.
sorry about that.
I thought you had an emergency. You were like, okay, gotta go. The women's
Well,
team needs you. They are playing live there right
yeah,
now as
they
well.
are at the
So
moment.
it's really
Yes,
exciting to know what goes on behind the scenes and how everybody, including yourself, needs to be in top form. Tell us a
yes.
little bit about national duty, Doctor. What should we all know about this?
I
And how
think
does it
it's
make you feel?
I think it's a very proud moment being a Malaysian and selected for the Olympics, and being the only Asian doctor representing Asia in that sense. Feels a sense of patriotism, a proud moment for my family and also my friends and relatives back home. And I would like to say that the job actually requires us to be on guard all the time, because there are multiple chords which are actually being played at the same time, and your focus is always on the players and instead of the match which goes on. So literally we're watching them in action and watching if they're having any bandages on prior to they going on matches, or when they are on at the on court playing, so that we keep a little bit more of attention towards them, that they might aggravate an injury which has they have had previously, before coming to the tournament.
That's right. Of course, very stressful on the team as well. They want to do their best. The entire nation is watching, surely
Yeah.
for you as well. What happens when stress levels are high? And now during COVID times as well, where perhaps your immunity might be compromised and so on and so forth. What are some of the perhaps advice? Because we all want to know about the athletes as well and how they perform under stress, Dr. Ashwin.
I think being elite athletes, they are performing at the highest level, and they are able to cope with such levels of anxiety and stress. Um, because, yes, like I said earlier, they might not be having much match fitness in that sense, but they're always training and conditioning themselves, for situations like this. So they never sit idle and doing nothing, basically. And they have match preparation. They also have sports psychologists who work with them, during these times, coaches, and there's a lot of support for them. So I don't think it is actually much of an issue about anxiety and stress. It's just about when they go on court. Sometimes when things don't go according to plan, yes, that affects their game when it is being played at that point of time. But otherwise, I think they manage it really well.
And so, what's it like working with dad? What are the dynamics like, at the Olympics and, of course, back here at home as well? Dad has been a consultant sports physician and a senior doctor for 38 years now. Going strong at 71, still on national duty. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
doctor.
right.
Let's
That's
see.
right. Unfortunately, because of the strict SOPs, we've not had any time to interact with each other, except through the phone. And he says that in his venue and his sport, it's pretty much the same, which what I am experiencing at the moment, which is we go to work, we come back to the hotel, and that's about it. Unfortunately, this is a very unprecedented situation for when Olympic Games has been held during a pandemic. I don't think it has happened before. Very strict SOPs, and yeah, we'll probably only meet up when we get back to Malaysia, back
That's right,
home.
and that is not too long to go. You're about to pack up your bags and leave
We're on the
tomorrow. In fact,
we're on the final day here, and I leave tomorrow evening back for Malaysia, and there's a 14-day quarantine period which we have to go
right.
through. Yeah, so it's not really home per se. So yeah,
But you
work,
still have access to your nasi lemak and your kopio.
well. To be very honest, yes, I'm missing Malaysia and Malaysian food a lot. and can't wait to get back. I'm sure my beloved wife is also missing me, I hope.
Dr. Shireen, of course, I'm sure
Yeah.
she's watching there as well. Very
Yeah.
quickly, though, now that you've said that, outside looking in, now that you're there, and we talk about Malaysia on the map and athletes and sports and unity. What are some of the thoughts that has sort of come across your mind when you think about how we do as a nation and how perhaps we can do better at such challenging times?
I think in terms of the athletes, they are having a very good camaraderie between themselves. I think it helps when they pick each other up when they're down. Um, there, a lot of our athletes are young, and if they work hard, they have discipline, they continue to have that hunger to win and to strive to greater heights. I'm sure that they can all do very well, and they've already put Malaysia on the map. Malaysia is on the map. It's just about getting to it's what they desire to achieve. It's all up to them. You can have the best infrastructure, the best coaches, the best support teams. But at the end of the day, like badminton's an individual sport in that sense. So it's all up to the players of how well they want to do and what they want to achieve finally. And I'm sure that looking at the performances of the badminton players here, our national players, uh, they can do really well in the upcoming Olympics. But they just need to have that hunger and desire and motivation to, you know, achieve that goal.
That's right. Upwards and onwards, right? That's always the motto. We're
That's right.
standing by right now, basically, to wait for our cue to take our viewers to a press conference that's happening soon. We don't know the details or the timing just yet, Dr. Rashwin, but we want to thank you for your time. What would you like to say to those watching here back home, family, friends, and perhaps other, but youth representatives like you who are doing so much for the country?
I would like to say that shout out to my family and my friends also, and I would like to say that those who are involved in sports at a young age as mine, I would say do what you're doing. You know that you like what you're doing. You have the interest, and when you have interest and you like what you're doing, you will definitely do the best. And being young, the many more years ahead, don't stop, don't give up, and continue to strive and achieve what you want to do in whichever field you want to do.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rashwin. Thanks for taking care of our national badminton team as well. That was Dr. Rashwin Singh Sura, Malaysian medical officer at the Tokyo Olympics. I think at this point of time, we're still waiting for a cue to know when we will take you to the press conference by Minister Khari Jamaluddin. He has a few things to share with us. Now, let's quickly look at some other news that's happening here in the country from the Communications Minister, Dato Saifuddin Abdullah. He has commended media practitioners in the country for showing dedication and professionalism by reporting the latest news and feature stories with truth and fairness. Now, if you're thinking, well, I don't know which portals I can trust, where I can find verified news from. Ladies and gentlemen, Bernama.com, our news portal, we verify our news and we put the truth out there as well. That's a quick info and a quick sell there on Bernama. But it's true, we are the national news agency. Now, furthering that, the minister has called on media practitioners to work together and focus on all efforts to fight COVID-19, protect the people's well-being, and ensure the country's economic survival. And that, I can tell you, Mr. Minister, is on our agenda as a news production team every single day. Here are some updates from the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. The government is optimistic to achieve the target of fully vaccinating half of the individuals aged 18 and above by the end of August. This was in view of the high vaccination rate at the moment, adding that 29% of the adult population has completed both doses of the vaccine so far. So the new target now is on achieving 50% of the adult population to be fully vaccinated come our National Day. And the operation of walk-in vaccinations will be expanded to other states too, if you're wondering. That will happen soon with priority given to senior citizens first and foremost. We know that we all must and should get vaccinated if possible so that we can all be safe. Remember, no one is safe until we are all safe. Coming back to that hashtag as well, Kita Jaga Kita, we've seen a lot of goodness and kindness on the ground with the white flag movement and other, movements and NGOs and just the general public coming out to help. Reach out to a friend, a family friend, someone who you think might need just someone simply to talk to as well. We know that we are sticking as a team in at the Olympics, and our athletes are doing the best we as a nation can. Let's move on to what the health minister has said. He says some 85,000 teachers in schools nationwide are expected to achieve at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine before the school session begins this September. So that's happening soon as well. And apart from teachers, the implementation team and support service staff, including the canteen operators, school bus and van drivers, as well as the security guards, would all be vaccinated in order to achieve herd immunity. That is the goal right now. Once again, we're waiting for a queue to take you to a press conference that's happening any moment now. Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has some information he'd like to share, some announcement to make. I've got all gadgets here going off the phone and some other cues from my team in the background as well. Taking you to some of the latest updates on Twitter. What's trending on Twitter, if you're wondering? What are people talking about? Well, to look at some of the updates from the sports world, Australian female athlete Emma McKeon dominates the swimming event, grabbing 7 medals in total. That's a little bit of update there. And Lamont Marcel Jacobs is the first Italian to win the athletics in men's 100 meters at the Tokyo Olympics. And Jasmine Chamacho Quinn has won Puerto Rico's first athletics gold medal at the Olympics, creating a history for Puerto Rico. I know many sports fans out there, and many have been following this world event. Once again, very quickly, Minister KJ will be coming in with a quick announcement. Do keep it locked on to Bernama TV as we bring you more updates. Remember, our portal as well churns out updates regularly, so you can check to those websites as well. Very simply, bernama.com. That's the website for you to go get information. You can also stream us live wherever you are. Now, here's a look at what's happening around the world. Chinese cities are testing millions as virus cases surge. And in Australia, Sky News says they have suspended from YouTube for about a week because its platforms review content for compliance with its COVID-19 policy. So that's happening in Australia. And in Cambodia, they're going to mix vaccines as booster shots to fight COVID-19. We have discussed this issue here in Malaysia. And for now, we feel that there is not enough data to support some of these initiatives, perhaps. Well, that's my cue to go right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Nation Update, and we hope that we will be able to bring you more updates, especially about the press conference happening soon. Just keep it locked on. And remember, I'm also on Twitter, so if you need to ask me a question or you want to discuss a national issue or a current issue, you can always tweet me up. My handle is @Jessie Chahal. Have a great day. Stay safe. Take care. And remember, stay home. Bye-bye.